From the biggest moments
Can you believe it?
to gold medal championships,
Sidney Crosby, the golden goal!
it's your update on Canada's game. You're listening to the True North Ice podcast with Jacob Ewing and Caleb Schneider.
It's the True North Ice podcast where we talk everything about Hockey Canada and Canadian hockey related. I'm your host, Caleb Schneider. My other host, Jacob Ewing, is not here this week, so it's another solo pod. But hey, we're in the midst of the Olympics. A lot of stuff's going on. Women's are about to go to the semifinals. Men's are about to go to the quarterfinals. It's a good time to talk hockey. And you know what? I just couldn't wait. We got to get an episode out. We've been doing two a week for a while. So I thought it's important. I'll chug through. I'll push out maybe 40 minutes of myself rambling, ranting. And I've been thinking about this. It's basically a lecture. That's all I got to do. But we're here. We're going to first start with the men's, and then we'll go to women's. We've done the last two podcasts has been basically all women's because the women's tournament started much, much earlier than the men's. And then we'll get to women's, and then I want to put my opinion out there on the curling beef. Obviously not hockey, but we'll end up with that. So if you're curious about the curling beef, you want to get a head start, that's at the end of the episode. But yeah, it's going well. We're pushing through. Got content going out every day. I'm getting to the point where I'm just like locked in, auto-focused and all this stuff. But I'm excited. It's been a while since I've done a podcast. I'm excited to go long form once again. I'm going to try my best to avoid the rest of the Olympic hockey and mostly stick to Canada. But man, some of these games that are not featuring Canada have been really great. Pool B, I think, was Sweden, Slovakia, Finland. Those games have been unbelievable, man. Slovakia clutching it out. And like these 6 a.m. games have just been bangers. I've been waking up watching those. The Slovakia-Sweden, when Slovakia won the game, or Slovakia lost the game, but they basically won. They won the pool. Like that stuff you can't make up. That's what international hockey's all about. It feels like these... Yeah, Canada, USA, even Sweden sometimes. And then you got these second-tier teams just fighting it out, man. And, I mean, Slovakia is probably definitely the underdog. I would have probably had them third in that pool, and they come out on top. So, a lot of fun to watch. But, hey, men's team, Canada's team, just dominating, man. It's been unbelievable. We basically win out the entire pool play. We get seed number 1 heading into the quarterfinals, which basically seals we either will play... by the time you watch this, actually no, qualification round's on Tuesday, but we will play the winner of Czechia-Denmark, which will be 10:10 a.m. Eastern time. So we got a decent time slot, and hey, I mean, we've already beat Czechia and Denmark. I mean, Nick Olsson, man. Nick Olsson knocked us out in that World Championship, so you never know, but it's just pretty, I don't want to say cupcake, but pretty darn easy opponents. Thanks to Slovakia winning out, that helps in pushing Sweden down because USA might be playing Sweden in that quarterfinal, assuming Sweden beats Latvia in the pre-qualification round. But Czechia or Denmark. It's quite interesting, but I'm going to quickly, kind of what we normally do with all these episodes, I'm going to break down kind of each game. Of course, we play Czechia first. This one was interesting. I'm just re-jogging the memory. All I know is Nathan MacKinnon scored a goal early in that game, and then I got called back because Nick Suzuki was called for tripping or something. It was late whistle, but all I want to say before, like that's a bad segue, but Nick Suzuki with Nathan MacKinnon and, gosh, who was it? Brandon Hagel as your second line. I don't like that line at all. That's a horrible segue, but I was going to talk about that from the get-go. It's been a pretty poor line. I think Nick Suzuki is much better as a center, and we saw that in the game against Switzerland when they put Nathan MacKinnon on the first line. Nick Suzuki is much more suited for a center role. I definitely would rather him be a 3C and Crosby up, or even Crosby on the wing. I'd rather see Crosby on the wing, but still, that was brutal. Anyways, Nathan MacKinnon scores early, doesn't count. I just thought that set the tone. I was like, wow, maybe it's not going to be as dominant as we thought. The first period was a little shaky in my opinion, but then Macklin Celebrini, 6 seconds left, tips home, who was it? Cale Makar shot from the point, 1-0, and of course, Macklin Celebrini, my guy, scores first. Nothing better than that, man. And then, yeah, we're up 1-0 heading into that first period. It's like, wow, okay. The last 5 minutes of that third period was pretty much Canada dominating. It was like, yeah, this is what we're going to see all tournament. And then bang, second period, 6 minutes in, Mark Stone finds it back in the net. Bo Horvat as well. All 5-on-5 goals, mind you. And it was just dominant. I don't know how many shots Czechia had. Let me see real quick. Okay, they did have 11 shots in that second period, but it did not feel like it. Felt like Canada had so much more ozone time in that game, and especially in that second period. But yeah, 3 5-on-5 goals. You wouldn't have thought that. I mean, Czechia was pretty disciplined. They only had, 1-2 penalties in this game. So Canada was only on the power play twice. But yeah, even David Pastrnak, I was surprised. David Pastrnak did not look good at all. I don't know if he wasn't comfortable, and we know he's been playing with Cervenka in the World Championships, and they were on separate lines in that game. They obviously put them back together later on in the tournament, but I just thought Pastrnak, you would have thought he'd be an X factor. He was not, which kind of that really helped Canada out. And I know first game Czechia, and you've got a gazillion NHLers on Canada. It's tough to beat. It's a tough team to beat when you've got players that have not played at this speed ever in their life, played on the World Championships, but that's still not the same kind of speed and caliber this Team Canada has this year in this Olympics. So that's tough. But yeah, just domination in this game. McKinnon scores on the power play. Power play 1 looks great. I love Crosby, Makar, McKinnon, McDavid. Reinhart's the last guy in that power play. I mean, Reinhart's been on the fourth line, hasn't had much time on ice. I think I would make a switch. We'll talk about that later, but I know I'm still in the first game. I would love Celebrini on that. I mean, Reinhart's kind of the goal scorer. He shoots the puck, and he hasn't done that much this tournament. Not a lot of time on ice to help him. My pitch is Macklin Celebrini. I think Macklin Celebrini would be great. You put McKinnon, McDavid, and Celebrini on a line for half a game. Why not just put them all in the same power play with Makar and Crosby, right? Then Suzuki, even though I think he's had a pretty weak tournament and hasn't been great on the wing, he does score 5-on-5 with 7 minutes left. And that's all she wrote. Just felt like a dominant Canada game, and I was hoping this is what we'd see every game in and game out from Canada, and that's what we got in this prelims. So pretty dominant, and no complaints whatsoever. Jordan Binnington is really making me. I've said most of the Jordan Binnington propaganda. Really biting my words. I know, big time performer, international stage, yada yada yada. He excelled in this game. I mean, I have some criticism about the France game. We'll get into that later, but he was great. Shot out 26 saves, I believe. 26 saves. So good for him. And I mean, Czechia is still 26 saves. Obviously, a good chunk of that would be coming from Marty Necas, Pastrnak. Who else is on that team? There's got to be a few other ones. Like there's good NHL caliber shots coming at them. So, and Czechia did a good job of getting bodies in front too. That's kind of how they had to play. Not a star-studded team whatsoever. Thomas Hurdle's the other one that I miss. Andre Palat, David Kampf. So you got some good, decent shots in there, but obviously Pastrnak wasn't that X factor, and we're not writing this game off for Binnington, but it was good. Good for him. And then we have a back-to-back, so we was confirmed basically Binnington was starting. Well, it was confirmed Binnington would not start both games. So then second game, the question mark, who was it going to be? Kemper, Thompson. They go ultimately with Thompson, which I agree with. I think Thompson's had a much better year. Thompson would have been my starter from the get-go. So makes sense. And yeah. So moving on to the Switzerland game with Thompson in net. Just another dominant performance. Doesn't help when Canada's on the power play early. Switzerland takes the penalty 5 minutes in. Doesn't help. Power play 1, Connor McDavid scores, of course. Assisted Makar, McKinnon, of course. It was just dominant performance from here on out. Switzerland had 25 shots still, but did not feel like it. I wish we don't get ozone numbers. I really wish we had those stats at least on the IHF website I'm looking at. I wish we had those stats, but oh well. But it felt like they were dominating play, got the puck in. One big thing that it pisses me off I don't like about the ice is that every team is playing dump and chase. And the way Canada's getting all this ozone time is because they just forecheck, man. They've got the best forecheck in the Olympics, of course, obviously. That's why the ozone time's so high. They just turn over pucks at a rapid amount of times. It's unbelievable. So that's why the ozone time's so high, and that's why it feels so dominant. But yeah, anybody can dump in this puck. This is the way you have to play the game. That's what every team's doing, except even the weak teams like Italy, France. That's what they have to do. They gotta somehow force a turnover, which does not work all the time. So yeah, now 10 minutes in, first period. Thomas Harley. I forgot to mention, Harley Doughty had great games in the Czechia game, and I had some question marks about the decor, and they've been pretty. Oh, and Josh Morrissey. This is why I can't do this all by myself sometimes. Josh Morrissey gets hurt in the first game. There's not much to it. It sounds like he'll be back come maybe quarterfinals. But Josh Morrissey's out. I forgot to mention that. That really does sting the team. But hey, we pushed through. We got through all three of these all these prelims. Now I'm all over the place. Crap. No, that Morrissey injury sucks. But I was pretty happy and satisfied with the decor in the first game, especially Harley and Doughty. That pairing looked really good. Theodore as the seventh defenseman, he came in clutch. He played like 15 minutes that first game. Morrissey's out, so obviously that plays a factor, but he looked good in my opinion. Parayko is going to be good in his NHL kind of role is physical and good in his own zone. That's what he was against Czechia and Switzerland. Bad turnover against France. We'll get to that later. But decor, I've been very happy. With it. Pia Suter finds it back in the net shortly after that Harley goal, 2-1. Canada doesn't score again in that first period. 13 shots, but felt like there was a lot of high danger chances that they had. And then, of course, our guy, Macklin Celebrini, 5-on-5. He scores in the second period. Pretty slick goal, in my opinion. And it's assisted by McKinnon, which that's when they created the power line. That's what people are, power line, whatever you want to call it. The Celebrini, McKinnon, McDavid. And, man, I think that's what they... I understand why they split up the big boys and have the big three down the middle. And we know when Canada needs a goal, they're going to put McKinnon up on that right wing first line spot for Tom Wilson. But, man, I just wish we could see that 20 minutes night in, night out. It's not going to happen. We're never, ever going to see that. But that's it's so fun to watch, man. And Switzerland's got decent NHL caliber players too, right? And NHL caliber players, or not NHL caliber players, but players that have experienced NHL and played in the NHL, drafted in the NHL, and they've obviously played CHL. A lot of these guys are CHL guys, right? So it's like it's still a good team, and they're just carving them up, man. So yeah, that's about it. I mean, I'm surprised Canada did not score more than 5 goals in either of these first 2 games. Crosby scores 5-on-5. McKinnon scores again on that power line, what you call it, in the third period. That's all she wrote. Dominant. That's the name of Team Canada, man. They just dominate. And literally no question marks. I mean, Logan Thompson, I think he looked a little more shaky than obviously Bennington. I think the one weakness about my hockey knowledge, and it's growing, but I don't know much about goaltending, positioning, all that. But me personally, it just, when I watched, it felt like he struggled a little bit. Like, I don't know if he's late to pucks, but he obviously still, like, he only gave up 1 goal, but I don't know if it's out of position. I'm not a goalie coach. I don't really know anything about goalies. Just didn't feel the same as Bennington. Obviously, I still trust in him, but it's Bennington's net, which is unfortunate. That might really kill us later on. Yeah, that's my opinion, but... And then I will say another thing about these first 2 games as well, especially in the Switzerland game. I love that the time on ice for the forward core was pretty darn split. Cale Makar played more than the rest of the D core in that Switzerland game. Thomas Harley played a little bit more than everyone else in that Czechia game, but I do really like how the time on ice is pretty split. I think it just keeps the guys healthy, and when we need to stack the time on ice against Sweden, Finland, USA, whoever it is, when you need to stack that time on ice in that third period, because that's going to happen. It might happen once, might happen twice, maybe even 3 times the rest of the tournament. I like that they've really split it, get everyone some good looks. We've obviously Jarvis has come in, Marchand has came out. They've been flip-flopping the scratches. Can't really say the same for the decor because Morrissey's been out with injury, but I really like what John Cooper's done with his time on ice, and I think it really will benefit these players later on. And then moving on. Basically, here I'll set up this game. France-Canada final game. Canada's already clinched Pool A, so even if they lose to France, it doesn't matter. They'd win the pool. But the thing is, coming into this game, USA had 6 points as well. We had 6 points. USA had 6 points. Basically, the number 1 seed for the playoffs for that bracket would now be decided. It's decided by points ultimately, and then the tiebreaker, since Canada USA did not play, just basically goal differential. So basically, Canada did have a lead. I don't know exactly what the numbers were heading into this final day. USA played later on today, the time of recording. USA played Germany, so much tougher opponent than France. But still, Canada needed to basically smack the crap out of France and get as many goals. Don't give up. Just have a high differential. That's basically what it was. Clinch that number 1 seed, which, man, really helps because USA is looking at a big monster in Sweden if they can figure it out. So, yeah, Canada just needed to beat the crap out of France, and that's exactly what they did. 10-2 is your final, but man, like some of these names that have scored, I'll get into the third period stuff later. Tom Wilson, Devon Taves, Mark Stone scored, and then obviously we got Makar, Celebrini, Crosby. Then you have Bo Horvat, Brandon Hagel later on. You got another McDavid, Celebrini. A lot of players, a lot of depth players on this team score, which I really like, and it's pretty cool. I mean, Tom Wilson, he's been great, I think, in my opinion. He scores the first one. That's pretty fitting. Yeah, a lot of these were 5-on-5. There was a Mark Stone shorthanded goal that basically picks off the puck in the neutral zone and then flicks the puck top corner on France's goaltender, which I don't have the name off the top of my head. That was an unbelievable play, in my opinion. But the first France goal, which makes it 1-1. Florian Douay. I don't think I pronounced that right. It's a French name. I could be wrong, then maybe it is Douay. That goal. First of all, Parayko at the blue line coughs up the puck to Justin Adamo. And these names feel English, not French to me. Anyways, Justin Abino finds the puck from Colton Parayko. Just brutal giveaway. And then he shoots the puck from what? Right side face-on dot, like pretty far away. That's a puck. Sure, you can maybe just kick stop, like use your pads. This shows my poor goaltending knowledge. I'm definitely not saying the right stuff. But anyways, he kicks. Binnington kicks. It's a low shot too. Kicks it off with his pad and goes basically right to Florian Douay and scores. Wide open net, basically. Obviously Parayko is probably the highest one to blame because of the horrible turnover, but that Binnington goal, man, that Binnington rebound was brutal in my opinion, and that's the one thing. I mean, first of all, this is the thing with Parayko. I mean, he's good in his own zone, but he had the puck already. He had it at the blue line, coughs it up. He might have even had it in the neutral zone by then. Coughs it up. And that's one thing I've been skeptical ever since he has even made the Four Nations team. I know we haven't had those opinions out because the podcast wasn't out by the Four Nations. But that's something you got to be a little concerned about when you play a better team who's faster, more physical, and just has more experience. Like we've been saying, the big three: USA, Sweden, Finland. Like, that could happen more often. Like, this is against France. I'm not going to be disrespectful to France. I've seen a lot of jokes, beer league, yada, 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 rec league. France is still a decent team. They still have a couple NHLers and a few NHL players that played in the NHL, drafted, all that. They've got decent experience, and these are men, but, like, France is not good. And you just cough it up to two guys that, they're just not as good as the big three have been saying. So I'm a little concerned about Parayko. Like, is that going to happen again? Hopefully not. Hopefully one time's a charm against France. Then Binnington. This is the thing with Binnington, man, is that he's not the best goaltender. And I feel like 95% of these goaltenders in the NHL, I'll just say NHL, would not cough that puck up. Right? And then you look at where Binnington is in the NHL, and he's like the bottom 5%, right? 95. So, I don't know. He's like the third worst goaltender in save percentage and all that. Like, I don't know. That's just something I'm a little concerned about. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Come a good team, and that might happen more than once. When Canada's not going to score 10 against one of those good teams either. So, anyways, that was my concern. Obviously, this is just a pumping. Canada just pumped France. France scored again later in the third period. Honestly, by that time, my attention was not fully on the game. So honestly, can't exactly remember what exactly went down. But I don't think it was from what I remember, it wasn't the best goal. But still, whatever. Gave up 2 goals to France. It's pretty stupid. But in that third period too, we see the first. Okay, there's like 3 things, and I kind of butchered this when I made the recap video for the socials earlier. I kind of explained it poorly. Nathan MacKinnon gets bumped not by Pierre Crinan, by another. I think it was another French defenseman. He gets hit, and it's just an awkward hit. He kind of twists his body. My guess is probably hip, groin, something lower body. There might have been something tweaked. We don't know. We still have nothing on him, unless I missed something on Twitter. I think he'll probably be fine because he came out for more shifts. But there's that awkward hit. Nathan MacKinnon doesn't look the best. And then later on, just minutes later, he comes out for another shift. And I don't know the one Finnish player, but it's behind the net. There's 2 of them. One is Pierre Crinan, who actually hits him. But basically, MacKinnon was going to get hit no matter what. So he turns to avoid the first player. And then Crinan's right there and just bang, right in the head. Crinan gets a 2-minute, and it was reviewed. It was they gave him 5, but then it turned into 2-minute minor penalty. But I mean, it could have been. I don't know. MacKinnon was lower. I'm curious. I didn't really hear anybody's opinion. I think it's probably just a 2, but anyways, it gets hit, and you can see MacKinnon's frustration later on. But before that, Tom Wilson in France's zone. He just rushed the net and play stops, and Pierre Crinan's there. And of course, he gives him a good shove. And of course, Pierre Crinan, I'm going to say this guy too many times. He retaliates, he pushes back. And then they basically, I don't know what the goal was there. I mean, I wish I'd watched the post game, find a Tom Wilson quote or a Pierre Crinan quote. But the gloves come off and they fight. Like they're fighting before, and then somehow they come off. I don't think it was the intention. Especially, I don't think it was the intention of Wilson. He definitely started with the first push, but I don't think Wilson was intending to drop the gloves. And then you have Crinan who dropped the gloves as well. I honestly don't have a read on what he was thinking. But obviously the rule we all believed was no fighting. And I think and you'd be suspended a game afterwards. First of all, if that's the fight you have, at least make it interesting. It was boring. It was just a boring fight, and the linesmen were just in there right away. So, like, what is it worth a suspension? Anyways, later in the game, like they both get their game misconducts, even though Wilson argues it. They get their game misconducts or whatever, and basically we find out later, which I kind of find it bizarre. It's not an automatic suspension; it's a review, and I'm assuming double IHF reviews it, not the. I know the NHL Department of Player Safety is in here too, but I'm pretty sure it's double IHF here. They review it and say both players are fine, which good, because that was a stupid fight. It was not entertaining at all. So they get through, and they are Pierre Crennan's playing in their pre-quarterfinal game, which I don't have. I mean, he had a couple points in this. I think he was involved with both of the goals for France. France plays Germany, so they're gonna get. Well, it might be interesting. Germany's been questionable, but it's not like France is going to win or lose because of Pierre Crennan. Anyways, he's back. Tom Wilson, who's been on the top line for Canada, is back for the quarterfinal game. No suspensions. Find that interesting. And then later on, after the Wilson stuff, you see McKinnon just going after players. He's angry. He's pissed. So, thought that was interesting. And he just kept going out for shifts, man. I don't understand why. So, like, he took a penalty. He took a penalty 5 minutes left for interference because he just decided, yeah, let's go after a player. I don't know who it was, but he takes the penalty and he's still out there, man. I don't understand why. You should have just sat him. Like, he looked injured after when they're hovered around the bench, which I think is stupid as well. They only have one tunnel, but when Canada's hovered around the bench waiting for France to get off the ice, like, he didn't look great. So, well, we'll see here. We'll see. But that's all 3 games. Injury report basically is we don't know when Morrissey's coming back. He's going to be back sometime in the tournament, which will be big. In my opinion, he probably would be the second best defenseman on this team. Maybe Devon Toews, but he's in the same pairing as Makar, so I don't know how much benefit I give that to him. But Morrissey's a big one. That second pairing, whoever he goes with, Parayko. I don't know who he would pair with now, but he was with Parayko earlier. That's a big player to get back if we can. If he's fully healthy, that would be great against Czechia or Denmark. So there's him, and then there's McKinnon, which I think he's going to be fine, assuming we haven't really seen anything from the media. He'll probably be fine. He's going to play no matter what, unless it's like really major, which it's not. It's just a little tweak, and I think so. That's basically it for the men's. A few other notes. Oh, yes. Marchand played the first game, then sat out the next 2. Jarvis was the one who came in for him. Marchand is confirmed by Cooper. He will be back in for the quarterfinals. I'm surprised Cooper would say that. And, yeah, that's about it I got for men's. Like I said, quarterfinals this Wednesday. We don't know who it is. It's either Czechia or Denmark. We can probably assume it's probably Czechia, but we'll see. And remember, if it's Denmark, we lost to Denmark 2-1. Nick Olsen, Nikolai Ehlers were the 2 guys that scored against us in the quarterfinals in the World's Championship, which had Celebrini, Crosby, McKinnon, Bennington, Horvat, Sandine, I think, was there. Parayko might have been there too. There's a lot of... Oh, not Parayko, no. Actually, I don't know. Anyways, there's a lot of Olympic guys on that team, so just thought that's something to mention. That's basically it. Canada's played in both jerseys. Both teams have played in both jerseys. I still think the white one is by far the best one. It's still not... I don't like the stripe at the back, but I like the white and the red leaf. But the black one, man. People are saying the black one looks good on the ice, but that's not the thing. I know I'm wearing a black hat too when I say this. The thing with the jersey is that the black logo on the red, first of all, I don't think it looks the best, personally, but some people think it is. And then you got the white number, which on the back is stupid. I think that's stupid. It should just be all white. Anyways, there's no black in Canada in the flag. It's red and white. The jersey would look so much better if it's just a white logo, man. I'm just getting sidebar here because I know a lot of people have said their takes on social media, Twitter especially. That's where I get all these takes mostly. It's It's frustrating. I wish it was just white. It would be so much better. But, oh well. All right. Now, women's. There's not much to break down in the women's side. The last episode we basically did a full-on, 30, 40, 45-minute discussion on the USA-Canada game where Canada lost 5-0. And basically, it was like a tournament's over discussion, it felt like. It felt like the tournament's over for the women's team, which I kind of still think USA is going to kill us. But there's still another, that was a prelims, man. So there's not so much to break down. It's going to be quicker because we only had 2 games. We had the Finland game, which I think it's more interesting now in perspective how we did against them, given now we play Switzerland, which it could have been Finland, in the semifinals here. 5-0. We see Poulin is not back in this game, or is she? Hold on, let me get a pull up the stats. It's been such a long time. It's been such a long time since this Finland game. Poulin. Okay, Poulin is not back. Okay, so it was just the Poulin comes back for Germany. Okay. Germany? Yes, Germany. Okay. This one I was happy with. The next one I'm not, which I'll get into later. First of all, the lines basically stay the same from the USA game. There's a couple forward core things, but fourth line, which I'm still very upset with, Kristen O'Neill, Julia Gosling, Jen Gardner. First of all, that's been a good line, and I know I know Gosling has been she's been really good. She's been a standout on this team, and I know some of it's come from the power play 2. But it's hard. Gosling's got the second lowest time on ice on this team, excluding Poulin. Which technically you'd have third if you include Poulin. Gardner's below her. And I just don't know what we're doing here. Gardner, she's fast. She's young too. Shouldn't be a factor right this second, but those two wingers, man, they've been so good. It feels like they've been effective in the low time on ice. 5-on-5, I feel like they've been good. Most of it's on the fly. They're usually changing mid-shift. There's been not many draws, it feels like. I could be wrong. You can stat check that on me. Kristen O'Neill's been decent as well. She's been a good PKer as well. But it feels like they can be on the fourth line, but the time on ice is so low. It feels so low. I'm sure they had the lowest. Yes, Gosling didn't even play 10 minutes. Gardner played 10 minutes and 1 second. O'Neill was 11:40. That's so low. They've been so much more effective than some of these other forwards. I know Spooner's been in and out for the 13th. This game she wasn't the 13th because Poulin was out. I think Spooner's been good. But then, Sarah Nurse has not been effective. Blair Turnbull, she's a good defensive forward. It hasn't felt like she's been super effective. Emily Clark had a really good game. She scored twice. Daryl Watts and Sarah Fillier are going to be stapled that first line now. I think they've been really good. I think they're Canada's top 2 scorers, if I can find it real quick. Where? Fillier has 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists. And then who's the other player I was talking about? It says bad. This is why I don't do this by myself. First of all, Sarah Nurse has 2 assists. That's it. I think she could be way more effective. Brianne Jenner has not been great either. 3 points, only 1 goal. I've been okay with Clark. I think she's been effective, even though she hasn't scored as much. Stacy has been okay. I think she would be better off away from Poulin. I liked what they did with Watts and Fillier and Poulin in the Germany game, which we'll get to later. Here we go. Watts 6 points as well. That took me way too long to find, but those two are going to be run out a lot. I've been really happy with those two. Then other than that, man, Sarah Nurse is I know she's been injured, but she's been back for a while in the PWHL in Vancouver. She's not been very good. Emma Malte has not been great either, in my opinion. Let's quickly see. She doesn't feel like she passed the eye test. No, she's got 2 assists. So it's not been nothing special in this forward core other than those 2 at the top and that fourth line. That needs more time on ice, which they're not going to get. It's too late now. But so it's frustrating, especially seeing. I think Gosling's been better, but Gardner was on the top line left wing in that World Championship basically the whole entire tournament. She was great. I think she led the tournament in goals. And now she's stapled that fourth line. They don't want to put her back up there. I don't know what it was. I know Canada in the end lost to the USA, but she was so unbelievable. And she's so fast. It feels like a lot of these players can't keep up with Poulin anymore, and I know, or anymore, just can't keep up with her, which I don't know. It's odd to me. That's what it kind of feels like in the eye test. There's not really anything to pass. Kind of go through stats for that, but it feels like not many players can stick around with her anymore. So, anyways, Canada wins, and I think it's an okay game. We can quickly break it down. I said Clark scored twice. Gardner scored in the first period. That was a fourth line. I think that's probably what I was trying to get at there. Watts scores. O'Neill again. That's a fourth line. And Clark twice. So, yeah. This is the last game with Poulin out. They did fine. The D-core, I've been a little skeptical. I mean, Renata Fast has been our best defenseman for I don't know how many years. She's had a very poor tournament. Not a great game. A lot of turnovers. It feels like at the blue when we're in the O-zone at the blue line, I feel like there's too many. She just fumbles the puck. I don't know what it is, but I haven't been super fond with Fast. Sophie Jakes and Claire Thompson might be our most effective pairing. The Erin Ambrose. Oh goodness, wow, it's too late in the night now too. Erin Ambrose and Ella Shelton. That pairing has been horrible. I think that's been the worst pairing. And Katie Taven, what do you expect? She's barely playing. She's been rotating in, but I don't know. It's just nothing special. It might have been beneficial if we had Nicole Gosling on that D-core, it feels like. So, and also I think the other big snub too that people are saying is we're seeing Fillier and Watts do so well with that age and that speed. Daniel Serdachny's kind of got that too. That second tier of scoring, the depth scoring would have been nice. But oh well. And then we take on Germany, and this is the game. I know we win 5-1. But this is a game where, man, this team is just not going to beat the USA. The only way they win is somehow they just shut down USA defensively, which I just don't think there's a way. And they win 2-1 in overtime. But this is just... And I know it doesn't look like it on the stat sheet whatsoever, but they just seem so disconnected. And this is with Poulin back in the lineup. I know they had to do some funky stuff with the time and ice because they obviously limited her minutes. And this is basically the lineup they're going to have to roll out. Like, every player is going to be dressed except the third goalie. This is the lineup they're running out. These are probably lines, the pairings. Like, they're not taking Jocelyn LaRocque off Renata Fast's pairing now. They played the entire tournament. But first of all, the O-zone. I know you have 43 shots. First of all, it could have been 70. I think there were so many times they just disconnected, and first of all, these chances are brutal. Where's the shot? There's a shot map here. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, this is not as cool as I wanted it to be. Is there a total? Okay, this shot chart sucks. Don't look at double IHF shot charts. Anyways, a lot of perimeter shots, a lot of shots that not up close, not up tight. First of all, it's mostly barely any rush chances. It felt like it was mostly just solidified O-zone time. Just cycle the puck as much as you can. Cycle. And sure, they did that, but they never got in close. It felt like they were disconnected. And then when we're bunching closer and you need to make those higher level skilled plays, especially against Germany when it should be easy, and you need to make that I don't know what to say, better pass, cooler pass, more effective pass, faster pass, whatever you want to say, or just even make a play, beat out a defender up close. Just felt like we couldn't do that. I feel like the players just, I don't know. When we started to get creeping closer, it just fell apart. We only had perimeter shots, and sure, perimeter shots are okay. And obviously, we saw Jeremy Swayman cough up the worst one of all time the other day. And it's okay, especially in women's, you can do that. But they don't have enough bodies in front. And there's not many shooters on the D-core. Renata Fast can shoot. Jakes can shoot. I think Shelton and Ambrose, sure they can, but it's not nearly as effective. Not as hard. But there's no bodies in front, first of all. That's the biggest issue. I feel like there could be more bodies in front. Find a tip. Get somebody... Find a dirty rebound. Easy goal. Just feels like it just isn't being effective. And it's hard to watch sometimes. The ozone is so ineffective. I don't know what it is, but this is against Germany. Against Germany. A team that's quite on, like I just said the same thing with France. Sure, they're fine. They're in a quarterfinal game. Good, like that's really good for Germany in that program coming out of that Pool B in the top 3. But man, it's just they're not good. Not nearly as good as all the Pool A teams, and then nowhere near USA. Nowhere theoretically where they should be near us. And the offense has just been poor. So many neutral zone giveaways too. It was just poor play. It was bad, and I know we won 5-1. Should be 8-1, but it should be 8-0. Anyways, Gender scores, Thompson scores, Fillier scores, Turnbull scores, Poulin scores. Poulin breaks, I think, is the most goals in the Olympics ever, or maybe it's just Team Canada. I kind of wish I had that stat up, which I feel like that's bad podcasting, bad preparation. But she broke something, and first of all, that was about 5 minutes left. I'm surprised. She missed 2 games already, and the injury's somewhat bad if she's missing games in the Olympics. In the Olympics, she's missing games. Why is she not benched when it's 4-0, 4-1? Like, no way Germany was gonna. Like, Germany had 0 chances. The one goal they scored was shorthanded, and actually, this stat I love. This is the first time ever Germany played Canada in the Olympics, but Germany's played Canada in the World Championships 9 times and never scored. And of course they score against this Canadian team, which I think is just great. It's just fitting. Just fitting for this team. So, and it's shorthanded. Yeah. Also, it was a shorthanded basically breakaway. Also, there in the first period, I did love this. This just shows you how much of a gamer Poulin is. It's gonna be hard to find because of copyright and all that. You can find it in the full game. Early, there's probably Renata Fast who coughed the puck. I could be wrong. So someone coughs on the puck, and this German player has a break. Wide, it's a super fast break, and I know like nobody near her, and I know the German player was not super fast. But Poulin comes out of nowhere and just breaks it up. It was full speed, 100%. And I was just like, wow, that's a gamer right there in Poulin. So a little sidebar there. But yeah, I'm not very fond. Mashmeyer started this game as well. It's going to most likely be Debian in the quarterfinal game, which is today when this podcast comes out. So... Yeah, we'll see. The semifinal game is Monday. Finals are or gold medal and bronze are on Thursday. So we play Switzerland, and I'm surprised. I think it's a little bit of an upset. Finland is much better than Switzerland, in my opinion. That Swiss Finland game was actually quite interesting. Switzerland won 1-0 or 2-0. Anyways, it was 1-0 for the longest time. Finland had like 35 shots, where Switzerland might have had 15. Like, it was a 1-0. Here we go. It was a really fun game, honestly, for a 1-0 game like this. 40 shots for Finland, 14 for Switzerland, and Switzerland pulls out. I think Finland's just a bigger team, faster team, stronger team. The fact that Switzerland kind of pulled it out, Good for them, man. Also good for Sweden, which I'm not going to really talk about. That was also a really good game. Sweden, Czechia. Some of these women's games have been unbelievable, man. That Sweden Czechia game was awesome too. Really tight, really close near the end. Switzerland's going to the semifinals, playing for a medal. Sorry, sidetrack though. No, I think Finland's better, so we kind of get a little bit of a breather against Switzerland. Last time we played Switzerland, it was 4-0. So I know I keep saying teams are getting better every year on the women's side, getting closer to Canada, USA, but we should still have this. But it's hard to say that because it was only 4-0. So I just think Switzerland does not have the offense like Finland does. So yeah, Alina Mueller, she's getting up there for Olympic goals as well, I believe. And she's younger than Poulin. So just thought I'd throw that out there. All right, and that's about it. We play Switzerland tomorrow. And I really wish Sweden would pull it off against USA, but it's just not going to happen. The USA-Sweden game is going to be an 8-1 USA final. So it's going to be USA. USA-Canada gold medal game. Yeah, that's really all I got, guys. Oh, curling. Yeah, final thoughts on the women's, though. If something goes wrong, it might... something goes wrong. No, that's it. Because this will be the last episode until Friday. We'll do an episode after the women's game, gold medal game. Canada's got to play a really tight game to beat the USA, and one or two things go wrong, and that game's is blown open by USA. They're so much faster, and Abby Murphy is unbelievable, and so is Caroline Harvey, man. So it's gonna be tough, man, but you never know. They're still pretty darn close, actually. I don't know if they are. I don't know if they're close anymore. Okay, that's all I got. If you're done with hockey talk, make sure to follow us on all our socials. If you want to stick around for curling, this is what I got. All right, I know I've been saying the hockey stuff's been very entertaining. I've watched so many games, so many great games. I wish I could talk about all of them, but I'm going to stick to Canada. But the thing that's just been trumping it all for me in this Olympics, I think, if I were to rank things I've enjoyed most about these Olympics, first of all, it'd be Klæbo skiing, cross-country skiing up that hill. Obviously, he's got like 3 gold medals. We've talked about him a lot. Norwegian. We've talked about him a lot. Anyways, he's up there. But I think first, I'd have him second. And then men's, women's hockey, 3 and 4. I don't know which way I'd put it. First, I think it's got to be this curling crap. And it's all self-centered around Canada. Canada, of all teams. I know Canada is a pretty big curling nation. We've got, I'm not a big curler watcher outside of the Olympics. Sometimes I'll tune in. When it's the only thing on TSN, sometimes I'll tune in. When it's not Olympics, but first we got dog walked in mixed doubles the first tournament or first Olympic. What am I saying? Got dog walked in the mixed doubles in this Olympics. Won the first 3 and then just lost out. It was stupid. But anyways, we're pretty good team, pretty good country. And we got one team participating in the men's, one team in the women's. Man, it was against Sweden, actually. It was against Sweden. This crap begins a few days ago. And I'm sure if you're listening, you know what happened. If you don't, you might just, I don't know the exact full story. But the double touching accusation, and then Canada also, it's all against Sweden. So Sweden accuses one of Canada's curlers, Kennedy, and of double touching, which sure, it's a rule, whatever. And quite frankly, I don't know the rules great. I read the frickin' rule, and then you watch the video. It really does look like he is doing it, and quite frankly, it's never been called ever. And he probably has never known that he's been doing it, and he's been doing it his whole life. So there's that, which I think it's pretty noticeable. You can see it on the cameras, and I know they've got the camera pointing this way when the guy is curling that way, so it's hard to tell unless you see the replay. But I think watching those replays, it's pretty obvious he kind of does. But I don't know. People are saying that's legal, what he's doing. But then on the other side, Canada, out of nowhere, just accuses Sweden as well, which I noticed. I personally noticed it before. I said it aloud, why is he doing this? But they're basically saying the Swedish team is pulling out rocks before they cross that gray line at the end of the circle. Basically, when the rocks are out of play, they pull them off, right? They're pulling it off early, and I noticed that. Like, it looked like, which I mean, I think most curlers do. But like, oh, there's a chance that it stops early and stays in play. But it never happens, and I think it's just common courtesy. The curlers just pull it off, even though they know it's not. Anyways, they accuse him of that, and quite frankly, they're doing that as well. And then we have like swearing, and people are coming out saying this is not the Canadian way. First of all, I mean, I'm not a swear. You know that we don't swear on the podcast. We don't. I just not swear. But that's something can't just 75% of Canadians do. They swear. Sure, he's on live television. They're all mic'd up as well. That's pretty. You can't accuse the guy. You can't. I don't know. You can't call him not Canadian. People are saying this guy's not Canadian because he swore on this, which I think swearing in curling is kind of stupid. I've never seen it except that one time. But he swears. He says some stupid swear word, and well, I never thought I'd see on live TV from curling. Says that, and then he gets issued a warning the next day by the World Curling Association. But then it goes one step further. Now, basically, they say, yes, he's doing it, because the next day, the World Curling Association has two. They don't have enough refs for all four things. All four, what do you call those? Lanes? They don't have enough refs for all 4 lanes, but they're going to have 2 just monitoring the games, making sure there's no double touches, which I think is stupid. Like, can't the normal ref just call it? Anyways, they have that. Whatever. The men's play first at like 3 a.m. I did not watch that one. But then the women's team, Homan, I think is her name. I don't know if she's the captain or whatever. I know Brad Jacobs is the captain for the men's team. But this Homan player on Canada loses a rock because of double touching. Of course, I don't watch enough. I only really watch the Canadian curling. I don't really watch any of the other teams go. But surely there's other teams doing this. Of course it has to be the Canadian women's team that gets called out on it first. They lose a rock, which I think in curling, it's a mind game. You lose a turn, basically. And that's a big deal. Imagine if you had the hammer and you lose one of your rocks. That's a big deal. Or if you don't have the hammer, that might be worse. If you don't have the hammer and you lose a rock. So, I don't know, man. I just think that's crazy that, of course, it's the women's team. I think they were obviously hunting. It feels like they're hunting that woman, the Canadian teams in general. So, I don't know. I just think that's really stupid. But listen, because it's stupid, this is bringing so many eyes to curling. And you know what? There's a curling league. I don't know if it's just in Canada that's coming out, but CBC is broadcasting it. There's a curling league coming in like April. So, I mean, this is great. This is great promo. We get the promos all the time on the CBC Gem. But I will say, although it's stupid, this has got to be the most entertaining stuff ever. We get quotes every day. I think today, Sunday, Canada pulled out a game against China. Or they won against China, and China's the worst team. So not really anything came out, but there's still quotes. Like, they still interview these guys every single day. The broadcasters go out to dinner with the Canadian teams, which I think is absurd. And they just get more quotes from these guys and just keep bringing them to broadcast. We get more and more. This was a big thing today. The World Curling pull those 2 refs, and they say, we're not doing it anymore. How can you do that mid-tournament? How is that official? How can you officially just, there's now 2 refs monitoring this one specific play, and then 2 days later they pull them. Like, you don't want to put them on payroll for the rest of the tournament just to watch these guys double touch the rock and not say anything. So that's my take on curling. I'm surprised apparently it's been 57 minutes into this recording, so I should probably wrap up soon. But curling, man, it's entertaining. I've been tuning in every day. If it contradicts with hockey, I've been double screening. This stuff is great. So, and I think like on Twitter, I follow a lot of Olympic, a lot of people just covering Olympics, and they post what's going on the next day, what's going on right now. This is what's taking over, like Canadian people covering it. This is what's taking over all their feeds, is just the curling updates, because there's so much drama. And I know there's so many other little things. I don't think we ever talked about the Slovak refugee. Or not refugee. What am I talking? Fugitive. Refugee. Slovak fugitive. That came to the Slovakia-Finland game. The very first game of the tournament. One of the best games of the tournament. Slovakia wins. Shows up for that. Doesn't even get to watch the game. And they arrest him. 16 years fugitive. And that's how he blows it. Is he goes to watch Yaroslav Koski, the greatest Olympic player of all time on the men's side, play, and he just doesn't. There's so many other little things like that that's just unbelievable stuff. This is what the Olympics are about. I know it's supposed to be about the sports, but there's so much politics. I'm seeing people say, let's overthrow the head of Canadian sports because we only have 1 gold medal now. And what is it? It's got to be almost 14 days. Is it 14 days tomorrow? 13 days tomorrow? Like, there's a lot of crap, and it's awesome. It's awesome, and it's on all day. And there's nothing else to watch. Like, NBA sucks, and right now they're doing a stupid dunk contest, which is so boring to watch. They had the USA versus World. I just hate basketball, but that's the only other thing that's going on right now. And, I mean, who's watching that? I'd rather watch Olympic replays. So, anyways, got to wrap this up. It's now getting close to an hour, so this episode's going to be like 55 minutes. Listen, if you don't know yet, if you're watching on YouTube, I just found out some people only think it's on YouTube, this podcast. It's basically everywhere. Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio. There's a gazillion more. I keep forgetting to pull up the list. Pocket Cast is my place. If you want basically a great podcast, free podcast platform, Pocket Cast is the place to go. Anyways, it's all up there. There's a gazillion places. It's in our link tree. If you go to, I'll put the link tree in the description of this podcast, and on YouTube as well. It's everywhere. So check us out there. And if you are watching on YouTube, thank you I'm surprised. I mean, the last time I did one of these, not many people sticked around for the entire thing watching me just talk. But thank you for watching, and check out the socials. Finish my last thought. Follow on whatever your favorite podcast platform is. Subscribe on YouTube. Wherever it is, I'm surprised so many people watch on YouTube, but give us a follow over on whatever. Listen there, car rides, whatever it is. Check us out there. And then now socials. It's going to be me for the next week now, basically just solo videos until Friday when Jay comes back from his vacation. But we've got two videos a day. We got a preview and recap 1-minute short videos. Got the clips because we're being sneaky about it. We got clips of the games in those videos, and we've got opinions, we've got recaps, previews, all that, and all those little TikToks, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels. It's all over there. And also, if you want more content on Hockey Canada, there's even more on the Instagram. We've got graphics, lines graphics, final score. We also do a player of the game graphic and pick a player of the game. So check out all those places. All in the link tree. It will be in our caption description. And yeah, give us a follow. Keep following us. Give us a comment. There's nobody. I'm just talking to myself at this point. If you're still here, give us a comment. I really genuinely would be curious. I can see it on the YouTube analytics, who's all watching. Or I can't see who, but I can see a percent. If you're still here, wow. All right, I gotta go. I'm just rambling now. It's been an hour. An hour talking to myself. I've had to pause once. It's brutal. All right. And that is it for today's episode on True North Ice. The next episode will be Friday after the women's gold medal game. We'll have a big recap on that, and we'll have a big preview on the men's semifinals in gold. So until next time, we'll see you Friday.